so you're the one that called ahead? Great. Well, I'm Cara, and I will be showing you the books that you requested, today. You look familiar. Have you seen you before? Just one of those faces, I guess. Yeah. So, I didn't find all of the books that you had requested. I think it was the Maze Runner we didn't have in stock, and what was the other one you requested? Yeah. So we didn't have To Ghost at a Watchman either, unfortunately. Those both were checked out. But if you want to, I can put a request for them. Not right now? Okay. Well, then I will start showing you the books. Sorry, first, do you have a library card? Of course you do. Okay, do you have it with you? It's perfectly fine, I can look it up in the system. Yes. We have 2 of those. So, do you have a middle name? Perfect. Got you then. Okay. Great. Well then, I can go ahead and start showing you the books. Yeah. So, I have, quite a few, to go through, because, you requested, so you requested a Dystopian, and then a play, and there was the one you requested specifically. Yeah, and we got that one, so, okay. So, I think I'll go ahead and show you the first one you requested specifically, and it is To All the Boys I've Loved Before by Jenny Han. Yeah, we actually have the other 2 in stock at this moment, and you can check those out just as well. But since you only requested the first one, I only pulled the first one. So obviously you probably know what this one's about, since you have requested it specifically. Yeah. Well, the Netflix movie is actually really good to its source material. It was a lot better than I thought it was going to be, in my opinion. Yeah. So, it's not typically, it's not very long. Yeah, it's not. Trying to think. Yeah. Well, you've already seen the movie, right? Okay, great. Well then, you should know that some of the things in the movie take like teeny bit parts from the second book. Yeah, which is totally fine. It doesn't ruin the book at all. But there's just tiny pieces that are pulled. Yeah. So, obviously you requested this one. You want to check it out, of course. Great. So, I'm gonna put them all here, and then I'll check them out all together at the end. Great. Okay, so you requested a Dystopian, and okay, so here's the thing. You requested Maze Runner, and then a Dystopian like Maze Runner. Now, I couldn't find Maze Runner, unfortunately I just checked out like I've already told you, so I got the series that I feel is very similar to the Maze Runner in a sense. It's not the Maze Runner. It's not like a repeat of the Maze Runner or anything. The Maze Runner's not a repeat of it, but it's in that same category of dystopian. Yeah, so I think you'll like them. Maybe you've already read them. I don't know. And it's a trilogy, and it's The Hunger Games. Have you read these? No? Well, great. I highly recommend them. They're one of my favorite dystopians of all time. So we do have all 3, and I went ahead and pulled all 3 just in case you would want to check them out. So there is Hunger Games, The Hunger Games, and then there is Catching Fire, and then the last one, 𝐬𝐭𝐚𝐲. Yeah. So now, have you watched the movies either? No? Okay. Well, no, that's perfectly fine. Yeah, I get where you're coming from. I sometimes feel like I'm left out of the loop if I don't read or watch something that's kind of like in at the time, and then later on down the road when I'm just getting into it, I feel like I'm like years behind. So I get that, yeah. So The Hunger Games is a dystopian tale. Well, I mean, it's kind of like a different world. It's the U.S., but like a different kind of U.S. And there is 12 districts, and each year they have a reaping where they will pull a boy and girl from each district who will fight in the Hunger Games, and the winner receives a huge prize. So, and it's all in the back, so I'm not spoiling anything. But Katniss Everdeen, her sister, is drawn, and she has to go instead. She takes the place, and so it's a very brutal book. It's not for the faint of heart. But it's also a very good storyline. It's not just blood and fighting. There's a really good storyline to it. Yeah. Great. So you want the first one? Do you want the other two? Yeah, that's awesome. They're really great. When you come back, you'll have to tell me what you thought of them. Yes, all books are 2 weeks, and they can be renewed 3 times. Yeah, so you can renew them on the phone. By calling me or a librarian at the desk. You can renew online through your account, or you can renew them in person, once each. So, yeah. Alright, so the next book I have to show you is kind of one I slipped in. I thought you would enjoy it, because I couldn't find the other 2 books. Yeah. And so this book, be mindful, does not have anything to do with Ghost of the Watchmen. It's not even like in the same kind of genre. However, it is, I feel, a very important story that deals with childhood and becoming an adult and kind of finding your own way, even though it seems hard to do. So, yeah. And it is The Lovely Bones by Alice Sepulveda. Now, have you read this before? No? Have you watched the movie? Okay, you've watched the movie. Great. Well, you may be thinking, I'm crazy, like, how is this a finding yourself kind of story? The girl's dead, like, you know? Well, even though the girl gets murdered, it's basically the story is just about finding her killer. And it's kind of a, you know, even though she may be dead, even though her family may be dealing with the death, it teaches us that it's okay to want to miss someone, and it's okay to let go when the time is right, and I think it's a very beautiful story. It's not for the faint of heart. I've had people come in here before and yell at me, telling me that the book should be pulled from the shelves because it's traumatizing to parents who have lost kids in any way, and I understand that. It can be. However, I don't think it should be pulled from the shelves, in my opinion, because, I mean, if you read the jacket, you kind of know what you're getting yourself into, and as though it's not for everyone, I think it can be a really good book for some. You want it? Great. Well, I am guaranteed you would not be disappointed. And so, another one you requested was a coming of age YA kind of book. Yeah. Well, I did get it. I got one that I think you'll really enjoy. Now, this one was a donated copy, so please be mindful that there's a Target sticker, and we do accept donations. Yeah. So, this is We All Looked Up by Tommy Wallach. Wallach, I'm really not sure. But if you know anything about Tommy Wallach, he is a musician first and foremost before a writer. Well, he was anyway. And now he writes. So this was his debut novel, and it's a very coming-of-age story. It follows multiple kids. I think there's like 7 or 8 kids. It says 6 in the cover, but there's way more than that. So it follows these kids, and the world is going to end soon. A meteor is going to come and wipe out the Earth, and it's about the last days on Earth, and finding yourself as a young kid, knowing that you don't have much time, and that, like, you know, what you thought you would have 60 years to do, you have maybe 5 days. And so it's very gripping, it's very emotional, and it's a very good coming-of-age story. Great. Well, then I'll put it right there. Oh no, you're fine. We have a limit of 20 books for adult cards, 6 for kids, and you're only at 6 books, so you're perfectly fine. And now, the last 2 books you had requested for a school project, right? Okay. Well, we had both of them. Although one of them, I think it was one of them had writing in it, which is okay. Again, donated copies, you know. So you requested 2 Tennessee Williams plays, A Streetcar Named Desire, and The Glass Menagerie. Yeah, well, I personally love both of these plays. Now, were you needing both of them for the school project? If you don't mind me asking, what was the project about? Okay. So, and really, you just need one. Okay, so you were planning on picking the one from these 2. Well, let me tell you about them if you haven't read them yet. No? Great. Well, A Streetcar Named Desire is just a beautiful tale. It's gripping. It's wonderful. So it's about a girl, Blanche Dubois, who moves to, she doesn't move, but she comes to visit her sister and her brother-in-law. And I forget where they're going to stay. It's in New Orleans, so. And she comes to stay with them, and she has, so Tennessee Williams, if you don't know who Tennessee Williams is, and if you're writing out a paper about him, this is a great backstory. He was a very troubled person, I like to say, even though most of us really are troubled in some way. He dealt with a lot of inner demons, I feel, and he put a lot of that in his writing, and though a lot of people, when he was writing it at the time, chose to ignore that, and even though a lot of people at the time, I feel, chose to ignore the signs, they just didn't. And you'll read that his death was an accident. In my opinion, take this with a grain of salt. This is kind of an opinion on my part. It's not factual at all. I don't think it's been proven. But I don't think it was an accident. I really don't. Just because we all have our inner demons, and through the years, in the final years before his death, you could see it winding down into his demons kind of growing more overt than what he really was. They took over, I feel. Yeah. So he writes a lot about that in his writing, and Blanche struggles with a lot of things that he struggles with: depression, PTSD, anxiety, and then of course Stella, her sister, and her sister's husband Stanley, both have marital problems, and it's a tale of love, but also of knowing that, you know, life's not perfect, and we all have to find our own way eventually, and that's just what I think it's about. It's beautiful, and it is a play, so there are stage directions, yeah. And then Glass Menagerie, I don't really know, like, everything about it. I only read it once. Streetcar Named Desire, I've read multiple times. It's my favorite play by him, well, one of my favorite plays by him, so. I really love The Rose Tattoo and Cat on a Hot Tin Roof. Night of the Iguana, that's a really great one, Night of the Iguana. So The Glass Menagerie it has to do with alcoholism, abuse, and again, mental illness. And it's I can't really tell you much about it. I'm gonna read in the back and see if I can jog my memory too much. Right, so this doesn't even tell you anything about it. It just says the awards it's received. So, it's a drama, young men, family, that's what it says in the thing. So it's just a very emotional story. Most of his stories are pretty emotional. 𝐬𝐮𝐩𝐿 𝐬𝐮𝐩𝐽 is really good. We don't have it, unfortunately. That's kind of hard to find by itself. Nowadays, you have to usually buy it in a collection of some sort. But it's really good. And then both of these are really good. Personally, I think 𝐬𝐭𝐚𝐲 is kind of better, and that's just my opinion. So which one did you want to take? Which one would I take? Well, for 𝐬𝐭𝐚, of course, but I think Menagerie has its perks too. Which would be the easiest to write about? I don't know. Really, it's up to you about what's easy and what's hard to write. I feel that whatever one speaks to you more. 𝐬𝐭𝐚? Great. Yeah. Oh yeah. Feel free at any time to call up here, come visit us. We're librarians. We're not just here to check out books and stock shelves. We do help patrons who need like homework help. They need advice finding some information. They need information that they can't find. We're always here for that. When in doubt, go to a librarian. Yeah. Or Hermione, I think, says it. When in doubt, go to the library. Good, you've read Harry Potter. It's great, you got my reference. Well, a lot of people don't. Oh well. So, I think it's good to check out your books now. Yes. Okay. Well then, I'm just going to, type up the author and title, and then the condition of the book. So just so on record we have to know. But you look like a very trustworthy person, so I don't think I'm gonna have to worry about it. Okay. So this one actually doesn't have any writing in it. This is in really good condition. Okay. Very good condition. Okay. And then we all looked up by Tommy Wallach. Pages seem to be intact. It's pretty good condition. The jacket is fine. Oh yes, we're very fortunate not to have too many people who abuse books or disrespect them. So most of our books are in really good condition. We have the occasional book that's either donated or someone just didn't take care of it. That's not too often though. So, and despite it being in bad condition, sometimes we do keep them. If a book is unreadable, we will donate it or we will recycle it. But, because in our opinion, some things you can, donate and people can still read them. But to keep them in a library with like hundreds of people coming in and out, checking them out, sometimes they're just not readable. So, good condition. There's a little bit of stamping So this one has quite a bit of highlighting in it. Almost every other page has highlighting. It looks like someone did a book report or a close reading, because there are numbers next to them with letters, maybe for a close reading. But it's completely readable, so it's perfectly fine. Catch You Fire by Suzanne Collins. Good condition. Okay. Hunger Games. This one's been read a lot more. So, there's no writing or anything though. Hunger Games. Suzanne Collins. This is good condition. And then the All the Boys I Loved Before. This one looks like it's in very good condition. No writing, no highlighting. The spine's like not even cracked. Yeah, that's in really good condition. Okay, and they will be due back in 2 weeks, so Monday the 12th of November. Yeah, perfect. Well then, thank you so much for stopping in and for coming to see me and to come to the library. It's nice to have patrons. Yeah. You too. You have a great day.